guys, I hope everybody's doing well. Today I'm going to be painting a galaxy sky in this book, The Explorer's Journey by David Habben. I chose this book because the paper is super thick and can take lots of layers of water and also just lots of layers of different medium. And I think that this picture will work really well when it comes to the galaxy sky. Not sure what I'm going to do with these black squiggly lines yet, but I'll figure that out at the end. First of all, I'm just going to start off by popping some tape along the edge. This is just so the watercolour and all the water doesn't bleed down into the spine. I am using Liquitex masking fluid to mask out all the edges of the areas I don't want the watercolour to bleed into. And I find these little silicone applicators really easy to use when applying the fluid. Heaps easier than brushes. I just bought these ones from Amazon. If you're interested, you have to look up nail art silicone sculpture pens and they'll just be really easy to find. I'm just going to start off with my Paul Rubens watercolours. These little beauties are new, so I'm really excited to get using them today. I'm using the wet on wet technique so the colours bloom and bleed into each other nicely. So I'm just going to start off by lightly wetting the whole area and then just really slowly and loosely dropping in the colours, and then they'll all just bleed into each other nicely. I did put a little bit too much water on in some places and did notice that it was welling in the middle of the page. So the way I rectified that is just to grab some paper towel and just blot it away. I am noticing that the coverage is quite light. I think I might have put way too much water on, but I do have another layer to add on the top, so I'm actually not too fussed about that. I also added some titanium white just to draw a leading line into the spaceman, just to make that little white space a little bit more obvious. So now it's dried a little, you can notice that it is quite a light wash. So I am going to go in again and add more depth to the colours with another layer. It also works really well because you are adding more depth into the actual picture as well. So I'm just using the same colours, but just not necessarily putting them in the same places. The next step is to remove the masking fluid, and I actually find with this brand the easiest way to do it is just with my finger because it comes off really easily and doesn't seem to ruin the paper at all. For the next layer I'm using my pastel pencils, and I'm using really similar colours to the watercolours I've used in the first layer. What I want to do is I just want to get a bit of a smooth and blurry look. I also want to add some extra vibrancy to that colour, which seems not to be there with the watercolour. I find the easiest way to blend these out is just to use my finger, especially when I'm using a larger area. But when I want a more precise blend, what I'll do is I'll just grab my Durip blending stump. I've got quite a few different sizes in these, and they help just to get in those little bits that are a little bit tricky to do with your big fat finger. I don't own a white pastel pencil, so I got out my Polychromos soft pastels and I used the white from there. This box is like my pride and joy. It's over 30 years old, so the packaging is completely falling apart, but the pastels are still good as new in there. So I used that white pastel just to brighten the area up. It looked quite dull after going over it with all the other pastels, so it just needed to be brightened up a little bit. Then I grabbed my white Poscas and my white Prismacolor pencils to draw on some stars. I did lots of different dots of different sizes to give the appearance of some being in the distance and some being in the foreground. And I also drew a little white circle around some of them to give just a few of them a bit more of a glow than the others. Next, I'm going to colour in the planet up the top. So I grabbed my Paul Rubens neon watercolours this time, as well as the original pack I was using at the beginning. I actually find it easier to take the pans out of my palette and you put them in this little palette here when I'm using them, especially if I'm only using a few colours. Super messy, and if I don't do that, I drop water and colour and my actual palette just ends up being filthy. So I'd rather do it this way. I'm trying to make this planet have a bit of a bumpy stippled look. So I'm just dropping in the colour in different little places just to give it a little bit of an uneven look. I then just decided to use my white Prismacolor. Just needed that planet to have a little bit of an extra glow. So I just ran around the edge, also added in some more dots with the Posca and also some white glowing lines around all those dots, just to make that planet look a little bit more extra to everything else on the page. I then grabbed my white Prismacolor and decided to go down the rays. I wanted it to be able to be see-through so you can see the colour underneath, so not fully opaque, but I did want you to be able to see it a little bit. I decided to try my Prisma blender pencil just to blend it out because on this paper it does have a bit of a rough surface. I decided after using it a little bit it doesn't work too well. So what I did do was I just blended it at the top and then left the bottom of the rays a little bit more of a bumpy appearance. So now I have to work out what to do with those annoying black lines. So I decided the best way to go around this is just to get my Silver Liguano gel pen and just go over them that way. Then they blend slightly into the background, but not too much. So there you go, there's my finished galaxy page. Definitely give it a go if you haven't done it before. It's super easy to do and really, really relaxing. I'm looking forward to doing the foreground and hopefully you'll see that in one of my end of month coloured pages pretty soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.